So today we are going to be looking at teaching your dog the chin rest behaviour. So this is a nice alternative behaviour to maybe some unwanted behaviours like barking or whining, but is primarily used as a way to do cooperative care with your dog. So if you want to be able to do procedures such as injections, eye drops, anything like that, we taught this one to Max a while back so that we could give him eye drops with him being able to opt in. And the idea is that if your dog's chin is on the object, whether that's your hand or a box or a chair, they are opting into having the procedure done and therefore they will get treats. But if they take their chin off and they walk away from this setup, they are saying, I need a break or I'm not comfortable with this, in which case you need to just do a bit more work on it. So we're going to work through each stage of how to teach your dog the chin rest, starting from step 1 all the way up to having a bit of duration with their chin resting on the chair. Bear in mind this is going to take quite a few sessions. It's not something that your dog's going to just pick up really quickly, so it is going to take a bit of time. The best thing to do is just take lots of little 5-minute sessions of working on it with your dog, making it nice and short and positive so that it stays fun for them and that they want to partake in it. So what you're going to need is an object that your dog can rest their chin on. Some people use their hand. If that's easier for you, absolutely start with that. And you want your object to be at the right height for your dog. That might be your legs, it might be a chair, it might be a box of some kind, but as long as it's a good height for them to be able to rest their chin on. You're also going to need some tasty treats. You want this to be at a level where your dog is happy to work for it and it's worth doing, but you don't want it to be too high value that they go really silly and can't think. So with some dogs, that is quite a fine line. Max is one that does get quite excited by high value food, so we are using normal dog treats for this. I think they're salmon sticks or something, but they are like dried dog treats. So what we're going to start by doing is take a piece of food in your hand so that your dog is going to be able to smell it and follow the piece of food, but not be able to get it until you release it from your hand. And we're going to guide your dog's head over the object that you want them to target their chin to. Now for the first few repetitions, we're not looking for your dog to actually rest their chin on the object. We're just looking for their chin to come over the object. Now this is quite high for Max, so him having his chin over it, it's probably going to be touching. Don't worry if your dog is more like up here to start with, okay? So I'm going to guide him round this way. Good. So as soon as his chin came over the object that I'm looking for him to rest on, good. I'm marking him with my word good. That tells him that that's exactly what I wanted him to do, and he's going to get a reward for that. Good. So after a few repetitions of that, I'm just going to bowl a piece of food away, it's there, to reset him, okay? So now that he's successfully done 3 repetitions of his chin coming over the chair, what I'm going to do now is lure him in the same way, but I'm going to bring that treat slightly down so that his chin is touching the object that I want him to rest on. As soon as his chin touches the object, I'm going to mark and reward him for that. Good. And you can see that when I'm feeding him here, good. I'm feeding him very low down from the chair rather than from up here or over here, because this is going to help in a moment when we look to get some duration on this behaviour. Good. Good. Okay. And I've thrown one away to reset. If your dog already has a release cue, by all means use that. If not, you can add one now. So a release cue is just a word that tells your dog you're done now, you can go, essentially. For us, we use okay or finished. So I said okay and threw that treat away just to tell him that he could reset. And then we're going to do a few more of those. Good. So again, you can see that his chin is touching on here, so we'll just reset him. And so what we want to do now that Max can touch his chin to the chair, we want to start to build a bit of duration so that his chin is remaining here. So what you're going to want to do for that is take a few pieces of food ready in your hand so that you can feed your dog in quick succession once their chin is on the chair. Okay, so I'm just going to get them ready in my hand. I'm going to guide him around here. Good. And just as before, I'm marking and rewarding him for his chin touching the chair, but now I'm feeding him a few pieces while he's there so that he stays in that position. So we'll do that again. Percy, it's not for you. I know. Good. Okay. So you can see again, he was getting the pieces of food while his chin was resting there to keep that duration. Now, what we would want to do there is start to build a bit of time in between those treats before he then gets the piece of food. Good. So if your dog does offer something like a paw or any other behaviour, we're not going to reward them for that. We're going to ignore and we're going to reset. So I'm going to throw a piece away. I'm going to get my food ready in my hands again. I'm going to lure my dog round. Good. Okay. So you can see that there was just sort of a half a second or a second in between each pieces of those food, just to build up the duration that he's there for. So what you would want to do is continue to build that duration so you're getting much more of a rest on here for the same amount of food essentially. Now, once your dog can start to build up their duration nicely, what you're going to want to do is do this without the food in your hand. So what I'm going to do here is get some food ready in my other hand so that I can reward my dog nice and quickly so I don't miss my moment, but the hand that I'm going to lure him with doesn't have any food in. What you can do, because some dogs will be really reluctant to follow a hand that doesn't have food in, is pretend. So you can put your hand in your treats and pretend to hold one. There isn't anything actually in my hand. And guide them in exactly the same way that you were when that hand had food in it. So, good. Okay. So again, you can see that I lured him round with that hand being empty. He rested his chin, I marked and rewarded him. So again, you would want to repeat that a few times until it's nice and smooth. Hands empty. Good. Okay. So at the moment, Max's cue to rest his chin on the chair is me guiding him round with my hand. What we want to start doing is fading that out to a much smaller hand signal than me having to lure him. But we can't just go from that big action of luring to tapping our hand on the chair, for example. So we want to gradually make that movement smaller and smaller. So get the treats ready. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. So now that our dog is offering the behaviour of having his chin on the chair, good boy, nice and smoothly with no treats in our hand, we can now add our verbal cue for this. So I'm going to use the word chin. Now it's important to remember that your dog doesn't know what that means yet, so we can't just say the word and expect them to do the behaviour. We need to pair the behaviour of resting his chin on the object with the word so that he can connect the two. So with any new cue that we add, we always want to have the new cue first, then the old cue, then the behaviour, and then mark and reward as you had been previously. So you're going to say chin, give your physical signal, whether that's tapping or luring, and then as your dog rests their chin on the thing, you're going to then mark and reward them for that. So let's just reset Max a little bit, okay? Chin, good. Okay. Chin, good. Okay. Chin, good. Okay. Chin, good. Okay, nice. So you can see how we're adding that word in. Now that may take quite a few repetitions for your dog to understand that that word means that behaviour. So you're going to want to do a good 10 to 20 repetitions of this with the word before you try and use it as a cue. What you then want to do is ask your dog for chin and wait and see if your dog can do the behaviour. If they can't, if they don't listen to that cue, it's just a sign that they don't yet know what it means, and so you want to keep repeating this stage. If they do respond, fantastic, you can move on to the next stage, which would be to start proofing this behaviour.